The New York Jets completed their first round of interviews. We have those names. When the hell are the Jets going to hire somebody? We have that timeline. And who is the top 5 candidates the Jets should hire from this list and talk to for a second time and become the finalist? We have that as well. Let's go. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
You're fucking wrong!
Let's go, baby. I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Welcome to Boy Green Daily. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Welcome to the friggin' program. We're live every single day on this channel at 7:30 in the morning for Boy Green Daily. Plus, we got other bonus shows as well that you guys can check out right off the top rope. As you guys come in, like the video, hit subscribe, baby, and spread the gospel of Boy Green Daily. And if you'd like, you can go the extra mile like MFC just did, and he just gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Which reminds us, let's flip the banner, baby. This is the current Boy Green raffle leaderboard. Every time you guys gift a membership, you give, of course, your loyalty to Boy Green and bend the knee for the true king of the North, but also it helps support the show. And also, you get a raffle ticket for a big giveaway at the end of the month where we will be giving away a bunch of wonderful prizes. So you guys can either join the Boy Green Coffee Club yourself if you'd like to join. It's a very simple way to join. It's join the Boy Green Coffee Club in the YouTube description down below. It's only $2.99 a month. If you'd like to support the show, feel free to do so. And like I said, you could both support the show and try to get something out of it, which, like I said, is our wonderful prize pack that we'll be giving away at the end of the month. And it is this. We're going to be very transparent here on the show. Let me hide MFC's gifted membership. Again, shout out to Mother Effing Chew, baby. The Boy Green Raffle giveaway spectacular. A Nike Atmosphere Aaron Rodgers jersey, which is Heather Gray in color. $50 Boy Green merch shop gift card and a custom laser engraving package. Jets, Boy Green, all mixed together. License plate, pens, coins, and so much more. That is all available for one lucky winner at the end of this month. So again, you support the show, you got to have a little warm, tingly feeling inside. Plus, you got a chance to win some cool prizes. So you can't beat that, baby. If you have one ticket to the dance, you have a chance. That's $2.99 per month. But obviously, the more raffle tickets you purchase, the better your chances are. So again, Jimmy Jets is number one in our contest right now with 77 gifted memberships, tied with number one Austin Jeff Andrews. That's all at 77. J-Boys at 65. DNY for Life's at 38. And for Lily and Big D is 18 gifted membership so far this month. Again, that is our current leaderboard, and we will update that throughout today's show. Whew. With that being said, in the YouTube description down below, we have the full list, baby, of the 15 candidates at the general manager position that the New York Jets have interviewed. The first round is complete, folks. The next round is the second round, and the second round are the finalists. So let's get through everything here. Let's go through a couple of important notes and quotes here. So again, the first round is complete. There's 15 names. I'll read those 15 names in a second. A big question on a lot of your minds that are watching the show is when the hell are they going to hire a GM? And here's this from ESPN's Rich Cimini last night. The Jets plan to cut the field and conduct second rounds of interviews, hoping to have a GM in place by the start of in-person head coaching interviews next week. So long story short, folks, end of the week, beginning of next week. That's the timeline here. What's today? Wednesday, I think. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, somewhere in that range is going to be the next general manager. And then that general manager they hire will be a part of the in-house interviews that will take place to help select the next GM. Here are all the names, and I'm going to, why not? I'm going to give you guys a top 5 of my most intriguing candidates on this list, why they should be brought back for a second interview, and therefore be the finalist in this thing. But this 15 names I'm going to read are in zero particular order. It's just random. So take that for what you will. These are the 15 names that were a part of the first round of interviews for the New York Jets. Let's go. Like I said, there's also information in the YouTube description down below. Number 1, Thomas Dimitroff, former GM of the Atlanta Falcons. Again, this is not my top 5. This is just reading all the 15 names. I'll stop saying numbers, I guess. So Thomas Dimitroff, former GM of the Atlanta Falcons. John Robinson, former GM of the Tennessee Titans. Jim Nagy, the executive director for the Reese's Senior Bowl. Louis Riddick, ESPN analyst. Mike Borgonzi, assistant general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs. Alec Hallaby, assistant general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles. Ray Farmer, senior personnel executive with the Los Angeles Rams. Mike Greenberg, assistant general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Darren Moogie, assistant general manager of the Denver Broncos. It could be Muggy, but either way. Lance Newmark, assistant general manager of the Washington Commanders. Trey Brown, senior personnel executive with the Cincinnati Bengals. Chris Spielman, special assistant to the president, CEO, chairperson with the Detroit Lions. Ryan Grigson, senior vice president of player personnel with the Minnesota Vikings. John Eric Sullivan, vice president of player personnel with the Green Bay Packers. And finally, Brian Gain, assistant general manager of the Buffalo Bills. Those are the 15 names that are in consideration for this shish kebab, people. Those are the 15 names. Now, the next task for the Jets is to look at those 15 names, look at those 15 interviews, and slice them down into a top 5, a top 6, sort of what we're seeing in Tennessee. They have their finalists that are now available. So the Jets are going to cut that 15 list down to about 5 or 6. And then that 5 or 6, each of them will get a second interview, more likely than not. And then after that, the Jets will go, okay, this is our guy, or this is our guy, or what have you. So that will put it all through. And again, I'm about to give you my top 5 list from this 15. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Here's my top 5, and we'll go 5 to 1. This is my top 5 of people I would like to see get a second interview. And quite frankly, I'd be satisfied with any of these 5 becoming the next general manager of the New York Jets. Let's start off at number 5.
Number 5.
John Eric Sullivan. John Eric Sullivan. He is number 5 on my list. He's a guy the Jets interviewed yesterday. He's the vice president of player personnel with the Green Bay Packers. He's been with the Green Bay Packers for the last 21 years. Okay. And he also has spent 2 seasons beyond that role I just told you. He spent 2 seasons as the director of college scouting for the Packers. First joined them in 2004. Prior to his, run specifically there, he's also a college scout that covered the Central Plains and Southeast regions. He was a student assistant at Gardner-Webb in 2001. He coached wide receivers. He is the son, of course, of Jerry Sullivan. That name may ring familiar to some of you. He's a longtime NFL and college coach. He retired in 2021 after more than 40 years of coaching. So it's in his blood. He's number 5 on the list. He's been in a Green Bay Packers organization that's always winning. The quarterbacks, obviously, that they found, from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, obviously, he gets a lot of credit for the success of Green Bay. John Eric Sullivan has a wonderful resume. He's been with the Packers, a winning organization for a long time, and quite frankly, he would make a lot of sense. So I'm going to put him at, again, number 5 on the list. And again, these rankings are of the people the Jets have actually interviewed. So I know you guys are going to throw in the comment section some additional names that you're like, oh, this guy. Well, the first round's over. So anyone who did not interview outside of some surprise name coming in last second that we're not anticipating here, they've interviewed everyone they requested or said they were going to interview. So John Eric Sullivan, Green Bay Packer guy, number 5.
Number 4.
Alec Hallaby. Alec Hallaby, assistant general manager for the Philadelphia Eagles. 18 years with the Eagles. He's a former quarterback. He's a smart guy. Harvard grad. Also has a background in analytics. Alec Hallaby. Very intriguing name. Now, again, some Jet fans are going to be like, not the Eagles. Not again. Oh, no. Joe Douglas. That's where he came from. And I get it. I get it, people. But I learned a valuable lesson a bunch of years ago from my guy, Jordan Reed, who's now an ESPN NFL draft analyst. Before he went there, I spoke with Jordan, and one of his valuable lessons he taught me is scout the player, not the helmet. And what he meant by that, of course, is like, certain colleges have certain biases, right? Like Ohio State can't crank out quarterbacks. That had been the rule for a long time. CJ Stroud is doing his best to break apart that stereotype, but a lot of, like Iowa and tight ends, or Wisconsin and offensive linemen, or this wide receivers from this college, or running backs from this college, Syracuse, RBU, So there's a lot of stereotypes that exist out there in the universe with certain things. So again, scout the person, not the helmet. in this particular case for general manager, scout the person, not the team. I know a lot of people, like I said, it's low-hanging fruit, say, I don't want another Joe Douglas. But Alec Hallaby is a really smart guy, very, very smart guy. And like I said, he's not just some nerd. Hey, nerd alert, not Austin Powers here. This guy was a former quarterback. So he's got the quarterback, he's got this analytical background. He spent 18 years with the Eagles, Harvard grad. We're hiring a smart guy. Well, that's not too shabby. So again, Alec Hallaby is number 4 on the list. Very, very intriguing. And there you go from Zach Quinn on John Eric Sullivan, was supposedly instrumental in drafting Jordan Love. So, okay, there you go. Number 4 on the list is none other than Alec Hallaby.
Number 3.
Number 3 is a guy you guys should know, Thomas Dimitroff. He was the Atlanta Falcons general manager from 2008 to 2020. My question is out to the universe is why hasn't Thomas Dimitroff had a NFL front office job since his Falcons tenure? Because, again, he was the GM from 2008 to 2020, wildly successful. Obviously, if you last that long, you have to be. Took a team to the Super Bowl, drafted a franchise quarterback in Matt Ryan, who's a borderline Pro Football Hall of Famer. Drafted Julio Jones, who will one day be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a wide receiver. Drafted a star left tackle in Jake Matthews. So, shout out there. I mean, playoff appearances, winning seasons, division titles. I mean, really, this guy accomplished it all. And normally, for whatever reason, general managers only get one whack at the pinata, and we'll get more into that with someone a little higher on the list for a different reason. But normally you only get one whack at the pinata for whatever reason. We get retread coaches all the time. We don't normally get retread GMs for whatever reason. I don't know. But Thomas Dimitroff, man, you could do a lot worse. He's been in the league for a few years, doing a variety of things. Sumer Sports, I've done some work with them, with some of their people on my radio show before, so I'm familiar with some of his analytics and his companies that he's worked for. So Thomas Dimitroff, number 3, very successful guy. I'd have him pretty high on the list. All right, let's go to number 2.
Number 2.
Top 2 guys. Again, this list I'm reading you right now. We have nearly 300 people in the room. Appreciate it. Like the video, hit subscribe. These are the top 5 that I would like to see go from the first round of interviews with the Jets to the second round. I'd like and thus be finalists for the position. Number 2, Brian Gaine, man. No one is talking about Brian Gaine. He was the last one to interview and maybe saved the best for last. Again, he's number 2 on my list. Brian Gaine, no one in the Jets universe is talking about Brian Gaine, and I don't know why, man. He is one of the most attractive people on the Jets list. He's been with the Bills since 2019. He's currently their assistant general manager. He was a scout. He's a Bill Parcells guy from 1999 to 2004. Prior to that, his first NFL opportunity, believe it or not, was with the Jets. That's just kind of a touchy-feely story, but he's a former player. He had a cup of coffee with the Jets in 1996 as a player. So he was a former player. He got into scouting. Okay. Then he got into front office, and good Lord have mercy. Like John Eric Sullivan, 21 years with the Packers, right? He's a diehard. Or Alec Hallaby, all 18 of his years are with the Eagles, so he's with one organization the entire time. And there's certain things that are attractive about that, but I kind of like a guy that's been around. And that clip is probably going to get clipped and sent everywhere, so I apologize in advance for that one. But in all seriousness, people that have been in multiple organizations intrigue me. That's different thought processes that they are open and available to in their minds. So Brian Gaine has been an NFL player. He's been a scout. And he has told people that going back to the Jets would be a dream job. It would be a dream job, just like Aaron Glenn. He's a guy that sat in the GM chair before. Now, it's very unique circumstances there with the Houston Texans, but he has sat in the role before, albeit for a short time, year and a half, somewhere in that ballpark. Again, due to very unique circumstances. But he sat in the GM chair before. He's been around the AFC East. He's worked with the Dolphins. He's worked with the Bills. Obviously, he's worked with the Jets. The only one he has not worked with is the Patriots, and blessed be he. Screw the Patriots. So he knows the AFC East. It would be a dream job. He has Jet blood running through his veins. Brian Gaine is very, very intriguing. Very intriguing. Like I said, I haven't heard a whole heck of a lot of people talk about Brian Gaine, but I love Brian Gaine. Absolutely love Brian Gaine. He is very, very high on my list. Obviously, number 2. Now let's go to the top guy.
Number 1.
Number 1 on my list. to be the next general manager of the New York Jets is Mike Borgonzi, the assistant general manager with the Kansas City Chiefs. He has spent 16 years with the Chiefs, so he's not a bandwagon hopper. He didn't hop on when, this Patrick Mahomes guy's pretty good. He was there before Patrick Mahomes. And here is a wonderful note from ESPN's Field Yates on social media last night in regard to Mike Borgonzi. Quote, I think you would be hard-pressed to find a more qualified GM candidate right now than Mike Borgonzi. He's been involved in every facet of team building for a team that's won 3 Super Bowls in 5 years with a shot at a 4th on tap. The Chiefs have done incredible work in the draft and nailed some key free agents and trades. The assistant GM plays a huge role in all aspects of team building, end quote. Field Yates on Mike Borgonzi. He's number 1 on the list. He's done every job for the Chiefs, and it goes back to what I said earlier, Thomas Dimitroff. Now, normally, I keep repeating the same words, but I don't know why. But for whatever reason, there's not normally retread GMs that kind of get passed around the league. Retread coaches, sure, obviously. Pete Carroll got a gig with the Jets, got a gig with the Patriots, and then eventually the Seahawks, and it all worked out great. Bill Belichick failed with the Browns, got another chance with the New England Patriots, obviously, and the rest is history. Mike Borgonzi has been biding his time, waiting, because he knows that truth is a reality. You only normally get one whack at the pinata, and he's declined GM interviews in the past. He said, no, that's not a good fit. I don't want to waste my time or your time. He took an interview with the Jets, and hell, I'm advocating for him to be a part of the second round interviews, man. And the Jets got to move and groove here, because while the Jets have had their GM opening longer than anyone, they're currently competing against 2 other teams. The Tennessee Titans, who have the number 1 pick, they're already on to their finalists. And they're already doing second round interviews. So the Jets got to make sure they don't lose their guy. That's an important part of this. And then, of course, you have the Raiders, who are most recent to the party in terms of firing Tom Telesco. So the Jets need to show some haste here, or at least know some of these candidates that they interviewed. Hey, we want you for a second round, so don't go anywhere, buddy. But these are my 5. Again, from 5 to 1. John Eric Sullivan of the Green Bay Packers, Alec Halaby of the Philadelphia Eagles, Thomas Dimitroff, who is of no team right now, but formerly of the Atlanta Falcons, Brian Gaine, currently of the Buffalo Bills, and Mike Borgonzi of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my top 5. These are all guys I would love to see get a second round of interviews, baby. That's what I would love to see. I'd love to see these 5 get a second round of interviews. Now, I want to mention a couple of names that obviously I only gave a top 5. That means 10 people were left off the list. A couple of notes and quotes of the 10. John Robinson of the Tennessee Titans, he gives me the heebie-jeebies. While there's winning certainly on his resume with the Titans, again, a guy who sat in the chair before, that's intriguing. There's division titles. He never had a losing season with the Tennessee Titans. That's a tip of the cap. How things fell apart with A.J. Brown and getting traded and with Garrett Wilson and what we have here, sorry. People can learn, and that might be a theme of some of the names I bring up here that I didn't talk about, but so John Robinson, I'm so sorry. Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl, we've had him on the show before. Not specifically Boy Green Daily. It was before the Boy Green Daily era, but I got a good relationship with Jim. I texted him when he came out of his Jets GM interview, and he did his interview way earlier. Now, if he was hired as a general manager, that would be an outside-the-box hire and be very intriguing. That'd be very intriguing. But I think even if he doesn't get the GM job, because he wasn't in my top 5, I would still like the Jets to hire him and bring him as some part of the front office, because no one knows college football better than Jim Nagy. He is the architect of the best, one of the best college all-star events in the country, and most say its Senior Bowl is the best. So Jim Nagy, I would like to see be a part of the Jets front office if it's possible. So a big salute to Jim Nagy. Louis Riddick, again, he's a guy that obviously has an NFL front office background, and then he's been at the mothership, ESPN, for the last decade plus. A lot of people hate him because he gives some very blunt Jets takes on things he hates about them. But obviously, he's a super smart guy. Smooth Lou. I enjoy his commentary. I enjoy his insights. I enjoy his takes on ESPN. Again, I don't love it when he's bashing around the Jets, but sometimes we have to hear hard truths. And sometimes we hear that about Louis Riddick. So he's an intriguing name, for sure. Ray Farmer, senior personnel executive with the Rams. He's bounced around. He's been a lot of places. Rams are a smart organization, but I don't know. He just doesn't really float my boat. He's got an intriguing background, but they're just better names on the list. Mike Greenberg, it's a shame. He's he's a snub from my list. Assistant GM of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. From everything I hear, a super smart guy, a lot of connections. Of course, the Buccaneers have won a Super Bowl recently. Look at all their drafting has been exceptional there with Jason Light. So Mike Greenberg probably should have been in the top 5 here. He's a very intriguing name. I'm going to be blunt. Darren Muggy or Moogie or Moggy or whatever his name is, assistant GM of the Broncos. Just don't know a whole heck of a lot about him. Did some research on him, but I don't really know any people that know him. So that one just kind of a mystery name. Same thing for Lance Newmark, who is in his first year as the assistant GM of the Commanders. Just don't know a whole heck of a lot about him. So I'm a prisoner to information, I suppose. Trey Brown comes from the Bengals, which is a really smart organization. Look at all the things they've been able to do. So Trey Brown deserves a big salute. Roster construction, and hey, they were a Super Bowl team a handful of years ago. Chris Spielman, again, his resume is just light. And plus, he's like a Hall of Fame Lions guy. Why would he leave? He's in Detroit. He helped them with this turnaround. Apparently, he was instrumental in the hirings of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. So that one just, the fact that he interviewed, maybe the Jets are just picking his brain because the Jets want to be the Lions. They want to be this franchise that has been on tough times, but we're able to turn it around. So I'm not sure if he's a legitimate interview or, again, he's like Jim Nagy that you'd want as a part of the front office if he'd leave. But again, why would he leave? He's a Lions guy through and through. I don't know. That one's a little weird. And like I said, his resume is a little light in the front office role. His role as special assistant to the president CEO chairperson. What does that mean? I have no idea. He would have to explain that and would have had to explain that to the Jets during their interview process. And then one last name that I did not mention earlier is Ryan Grigson, who is with the Minnesota Vikings. And again, we did a full show on that a day or two ago, so I won't beat a dead horse here. But he had a winning record. Went to the playoffs a bunch of times, winning seasons. Yeah. He killed Andrew Luck before and made him retire prematurely. Some of the drafting was terrible. So the Ryan Grigson thing kind of like, thanks, but no thanks. There you go. But like I said, a very impressive list. I think the Jets and the 33rd team, I know some people were criticizing the 33rd team earlier. To me, I thought they did a really good job. This GM list is very, very impressive. Very impressive. Real quick, I'm seeing a bunch of comments flying in here. A lot of comments flying in here. Mike Roch says, John Gruden and Mike McCarthy at least deserve an interview. I agree. I would talk to them. They're talking to every head coach under the sun, or every coach that could become a head coach under the sun. Why not? I talked to Chucky. I talked to Mike McCarthy. Hell yeah, why wouldn't you? Absolutely. Would they hire him? I don't know, but I'd certainly do my homework on it. That's for sure. Let's scroll up here. Hey, look, a number 1 Austrian Jet fan, baby, with a 5-pack of Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. Oh, yeah, baby. You love to friggin' see it. And how about one of these? This one always increases my mood. 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. We got to update the winner because now number 1 Austrian Jet fan is now in first place in our our raffle leaderboard contest with 82 gifted memberships so far this month. You are now in first place all to yourself, my friend. Very, very nice. So you have 82 memberships, and Jimmy Jets now slides into second place. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, the more raffle tickets you have, the better your odds are, of course, of walking away with our grand prize. So hey, there's no shame in that, baby. And there we go. We've updated the leaderboard appropriately. There you go. Number 1 Austrian Jet fan, number 1. 82 gifted memberships so far this month. Jimmy Jets in second place at 77. J-Boy in third place with 65. And DNY for Life at 38. For Lily and Big D at 18. That is your top 5 minute. Just shout out to our number 1 Austrian Jet fan, baby. We love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. All right, let's go here. And yes, Jerby threw up the Discord link. Also, if you are a new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, you can join the Discord link. That's in the YouTube community channel. That link should still be good. If it's not, let me know, and I'll give a fresh new link that you can click and join the Discord via that fashion. All right, we'll open up the phone lines here in just a few minutes, but the first round of interviews at the general manager position are finito for the New York Jets. Jonathan Jones of CBS confirms. Micro Fox, do you see a lot of these guys in front office jobs with the Jets? Some of these guys, I'm going to be blunt, are GM or nothing. I don't think some of these names on this list will come over to the Jets unless they're the general manager, which, again, totally cool. They're comfortable in their roles. But I hope a couple of these guys do come over, like I said. Jim Nagy, I would love to see in a front office role. Chris Spielman, again, that one's harder to believe because of his connections to the Lions, but if he was open to it, I mean, he took the interview for Pete's sake. But if he was open to it, I would love to see Chris Spielman in the front office. In some sort of a role. Thomas Dimitrioff, I'd love to see in the front office in some sort of a role. That would be very intriguing to me. Reese says we should give Gruden Carroll is another one we haven't talked to. McCarthy interviews, and we should be done. Yeah, we're waiting on several head coaching interviews. The Jets still, in terms of head coaching interviews, those virtual ones are going to happen throughout the rest of the week. There's Brian Flores. There's Josh McCown. There's Arthur Smith. I had the list yesterday. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. The Jets still have a ton of interviews left to do with head coaches, but they should have all those done this week, and then they'll do the in-person ones, and then again we'll be getting into the head coach finalist shortly thereafter. Yeah, here are the names. Okay, these are all the names the Jets are going to be interviewing virtually this week. Joe Brady, Brian Flores, Vance Joseph, Josh McCown, Bobby Slowick, Arthur Smith, and then if any of the names you want there as well, that would have to be added to the list. Obviously, they would have no such restrictions, those names that you brought up here, Reese, outside of McCarthy, I guess, who I think he's officially out of, I think today's Wednesday, I think McCarthy's officially able to interview now, but Gruden Carroll, obviously, no connections to current NFL teams. They could interview at any time. But those got to join the rest of that list of names. I'll keep that up just in case anyone asks again. But yeah, there is a horde of names that are on that list for the Jets to interview virtually. That is true. Reese says Arthur Smith is so trash. I don't want him. Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL Insider, made his head coaching prediction, said the Jets are getting Arthur Smith. What a dick. What a dick. Disgusting. No thanks on Arthur Smith either. I agree. He underutilized his players in Atlanta. His offenses were predictable and conservative. He never figured out the quarterback situation. That scares me. And he was 7-10 all 3 seasons, which, again, you can salute him for consistency, but not the sort of consistency I'm interested in. So he's 7-10 in each of his 3 years with the Falcons. So thanks, but no thanks. Reese, A-Rod better be back. It's going to depend on the coach, my friend. It's going to depend on the coach. Yeah. Let's see. Answer some of your questions here, then we'll get to your calls coming up. Why no Ray Agnew? Ace of Spade, no idea. Not sure. The Jets did not request an interview. And by the way, I'm not sure how many people have. I don't think I've seen a lot of Ray Agnew interview requests for whatever reason. Maybe he's let it be known in circles that he's not interested in leaving. But yeah, obviously the Jets interviewed 15 guys. Ray Agnew, not one of them. Not one of them. Hey, it's good to see our boy Jake Asman, here in the comment section. Good to see you, buddy. Love you, Jakey. Good to see you, pal. Yeah. So beautiful. James Fowles here. Good list, BG. Some honorable mentions for me. Louis Riddick and Ray Farmer, the Rams. There you go. Yeah, Smooth Lou. Again, I like Louis Riddick a lot. I know he's not popular among the Jets fan base because of some of his responses on ESPN about the Jets. Like, I remember before this season, he said the Jets are not a Super Bowl contender. So he was very aggressive about that, and obviously he was right. So sometimes he spits hard truths that we don't want to hear. Zach Quinn says, curious how many second interviews Jets end up doing. Like I said, I think it's going to be 5 or 6. That's my gut. We're seeing that in Tennessee. I think they have 6 on their finalist list. I think it's going to be 5 or 6. Maybe it's more refined than that, but my guess would be 5 or 6. Ace of Spade. Borgonzi is a safe, good candidate. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He's been waiting for his opportunity forever. He comes from a winning organization. He's done everything for the Chiefs. He's a Northeast guy. I think that's a big piece of, like, why the hell would he want to come to the Jets? He is a Northeast guy, which is great. Greg Rella says Borgasms. Okay, if that's a feeling you get when Mike Borgonzi comes in, then God bless. I'm happy. Alan says losing Mike Borgonzi at times would be funny unless he has an affinity for Cam Ward. Again, the number 1 overall pick is cool. Again, if the Jets could have got it, in a bizarre. Again, I enjoyed the wins. I enjoyed that final game of the season with 4 touchdowns and all the fun and eliminating the Dolphins. I know they were technically already eliminated from the playoffs, but still, the message heading in was eliminate the Dolphins. So that was cool. But the Titans roster stinks, man. They don't have a quarterback, and sure, unless you have a hard on for Cam Ward or Shadur Sanders, like, huh? And you're attached to a GM, excuse me, you're attached to a head coach, and then there's a weird power struggle up top we're hearing with Tennessee land of someone else also running the ship. That's weird. So no thanks. So I don't think the Tennessee job is, obviously they're talking to a lot of the same people the Jets are talking to. Let me see. Let me see. Tehran definitely has it. So 1 second from ESPN. Tehran Davenport. 1 second. They have the finalist list. I can read those to you. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see. They've completed the in-person interviews with their GMs. Okay, let's see. They've completed a second round with Colts interview. Here are the remaining. Okay, so here are the top 6, it looks like, for the Titans GM position. Colts assistant GM Ed Dodds. Buffalo Bills guy Terrence Gray, Chicago Bears guy Ian Cunningham, Tampa Bay Buccaneers John Spytek, someone the Jets did not talk to, Mike Borgonzi of the Kansas City Chiefs, and John Eric Sullivan. So the only names that cross over here for the Jets are 2. That's Borgonzi and John Eric Sullivan. All the rest that are not inside the Jets finalist list. Ed Dodds, Terrence Gray, Ian Cunningham, John Spytek. 4 of their 6 names the Jets didn't talk to. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. So, yeah, Borgonzi, John Eric Sullivan are on the finalist list for the Titans, which means there's a chance the Jets could lose 2 of their guys on their list to the Tennessee Titans. That's why it's important for the Jets to pick up some chutzpah here and move on. And, again, that is expected to happen here very quickly. So, that is the finalist list for the Titans. For the GM position. And they're already in the middle of their second round interviews. Okay. Let me see if I missed any other comments or questions before we open up the phone lines here. Alan says my top 3 realistic are Aaron Glenn, Josh McCown, Joe Brady. I'm not interested in Flores. I don't think any. Again, how can you be upset about really any of those names? So, Alan, we appreciate you, pal. We appreciate you, pal. Vern says Spielman's our answer with Glenn. Again, the All Lions takeover. How could you not be excited about that? For sure. But like I said, Spielman's resume is kind of like you would need some pretty important people around him, I would say. You'd need some pretty important people to have experience around him. I think that'd be important. Phil says Alec Halaby looks like one of the Spider-Man actors. Yeah, I believe that's Andrew Garfield. Shout out to Will Parkinson who said that too. He does. He looks like a nerd. He looks like he's 12, but like I said, he's got a really strong resume. He's got a very strong resume. So, and he's a smart guy from Harvard. How does that not help? Ostrich Jeff Man says next emoji BG. We have not decided on how that will be handed out. Last month we ran 2 concurrent contests together. Whoever gifted the most would get an emoji, and then then the randomness of whoever got drawn would win that contest. So we have not announced anything. We have not announced anything for that, but we do have emojis to gift. Number 1 Austrian Jet fan. We'll see. Okay. Danny in real life says Connor Hughes is stating that Brian Flores is the leading candidate. So I love Connor Hughes. Connor Hughes is a good guy. He's been on the show before. The only reason I would say how is he a leading candidate? He hasn't interviewed yet. So how is Brian Flores a leading candidate? He has yet to interview. Again, Rich Cimini said his two guesses, his 2 favorites, based on the information he has in front of him, is Brian Flores or Aaron Glenn. And so, again, I would say, how is Flores a leading candidate if he hasn't interviewed yet? That would be my question. But he's going to interview this week, so we'll see. And obviously his team has been eliminated from the playoffs. So that would be it. Okay, but some good questions. Some good questions here. Beautiful. All right, why don't we do this? We're going to open up the phone lines next year. We got 500 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. And again, gift those Boy Green memberships, baby. Every Boy Green membership you gift or equivalent, because I know iPhone problems. So if you can't gift a membership, you can also super chat or super sticker money in. Each raffle ticket is $2.99. That's the same price as a Boy Green Coffee Club membership to make it fair for everybody. So everyone's playing on the same even playing field. But every membership you gift or super chat you send in, and even if you don't send in enough, right? You don't send in a $2.99 super chat. I keep the math behind the scenes, so I keep track. So when you guys do get enough super chats, that you get raffle tickets when those opportunities presents itself. So again, if you get one, at least one, sometime during this month, you have a chance to win the contest. Obviously, the more raffle tickets you have, the better your odds are. Why don't we do this? We'll play a HEP song, and up next, the phone lines are open to you, animals, and we'll see what we want to talk about and vet through some of these GM candidates and more. Coming up next here on Boy Green Daily.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. We're talking just football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. Jets, Jets. Boy.
There you go, baby. Hep singing us that fine ass song, baby, here on Boy Green Daily. Again, we've got 500 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. If you'd like to call into today's show, feel free to do so. That is the pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. We appreciate it no matter where you consume this show. I know I have a lot of listeners that prefer the audio only version, so they don't have to see my ugly face, and I don't blame you if you choose that path. And also, I know a lot of people choose to watch on Facebook or Twitter. If you do, you have to jump on over to YouTube to be able to call into the show, baby. So, hep, hooray, baby. Yes. Amen. And we'll have to figure out how to gift away that next emoji. Let's see. John Gruden takes no shit. Again, John Gruden would be an intriguing name, just like we said about Mike McCarthy. Why not talk to the guy? You've talked to everyone. Why not talk to them? Talk to Chucky, talk to Mike McCarthy, shoot, talk to Pete Carroll. The Pete Carroll assumption, I would imagine, is that he got burned from his prior stint with it. Same thing with, like, I like Todd Monken a lot, but he didn't interview with the Jets. I would imagine it's because he's like not interested. Or Cliff Kingsbury was another one that did not. The Jets did not request him, so it didn't come through. So be it. So be it. But I hope to interview as many people as possible. But it looks like our head coaching interview is going to wrap up this week. So we'll see if any other new names. Joe Witt Jr., the Washington Commanders DC, formerly the Dallas Cowboys, he's a new name to the list. So maybe more new names will be coming here. Again, another shout out to the Boy Green Raffle leaderboard. Here are the top people that are here for this month. Number one Austrian Jet fan, 82 gifted memberships. Jimmy Jet, 77. J-Boy, 65. DNY for Life, 38. And for Lillian Big D with 18 memberships, baby. Those are our top 5 leaderboards happening here on Boy Green Daily. Let's head on over to the phone lines. We've got one of the greats, baby. Some people are Chef Emeril Lagasse people. Bear, okay? Some people are Gordon Ramsay people. Hey, now, I watch like every show that he does. We just watched Kitchen Nightmares last night with my fiance. I'm on the Master Chef. I love that show, too. I mean, they're great. If this guy starts making shows, Gordon Ramsay, move over. Chef Kevin Gilbert joins us here on the program, baby. What's up, Chef?
Hey, man, appreciate that introduction, man. Props to
Absolutely.
everything you do, my brother. Appreciate you taking my call, man. I'm looking forward to your Sean Merriman interview.
Oh yeah, baby.
That seems like it's going to be a special one. Very intriguing, coming from a guy who had a really great career as a linebacker. Just the intensity that he played the game with, man, just definitely one of the greats. So, definitely can't wait. I'll be at the edge of my seat for that one.
Oh, that'll be a good one. Thursday at 3 o'clock, everybody, for tuning in for Sean Lights Out Merriman. That's going to be a fun conversation, I'm sure.
That's right. So I'm with you with the GM with Kansas City, the assistant GM. I'm not qualified to really be breaking down the X's and the O's on what he has done to help that team. But I do know that coming from a winning organization, you could pick up a lot of tools. I'm just afraid that of giving him a shot as a first time GM, almost like a Joe Douglas, where he had the Baltimore experience, the Philly
Mhm.
experience, where you just feel like, okay, he's in the right organizations, but I just don't want to be that guinea pig where we're given a shot and then things just don't really fall apart. And if we do grab him, then we can't get another first time coach. But I feel like to align them both because they're both be on the same page, it would only make sense because if you get a head coach that's very strong opinionated, it's going to be kind of like a tug back and forth kind of deal with the
Mhm.
GM and the head coach, with the head coach thinking that he knows best. So the only way I could really see that working out with getting
Mhm.
that Kansas City dude is if we do get Spagnola, where
Mm.
they can be
Wow.
aligned together, and then like a somebody like a McCown to really come in and help out with the culture and coming from a more modern offense. I feel like that would really be able to help us out. But that's the only way I could really see it working out, as getting a new GM. Dimitrov, he's like my favorite. The
Ooh.
only thing for him is just the longevity of like really building a team that could stand the width of time, like more than just a couple of years. Like us as fans, man, we just been through this torture for so long where we deserve to have a team that we could feel comfortable with rooting for the next 10, 12, 15 years consistently, not being in the bottom every single season. Like we expect this, which isn't, it's what it is.
Yeah.
The last two seasons we had the high expectations, but now with this whole regime change, with the front office completely out of here, uh changing with the players and all that kind of stuff, obviously I feel good with Dimitrov knowing that he had Julio Jones and was able to stretch his career with the Falcons for the most part. I feel like if he was to come on, that he would definitely uh keep Garrett for a long period of time, just because he knows how important it is to have a wide receiver for your quarterback. That draft where he was able to get Matt Ryan, I feel like he was the clear number one. So it's not like he had a steal in the later rounds on the quarterback, like a great eye for that. Like that was the clear one. But he did do a great job of just keeping him for a while. My only thing with Matt Ryan was I felt like at times he was like a little bit overpaid.
Mhm.
But with the process and how the market goes, when you're winning, when you're going to the Super Bowl, you're in the playoffs, like your value goes up, almost like a Joe Flacco. Like there was one point where Joe Flacco was making the most money out of any quarterback, and that's just because of the resume and all that kind of stuff. So that's the only thing I'm afraid of, just like kind of overpaying. But those are my candidates. If we don't get Spags, who's really at the top for me, I do like Glenn. I feel like Glenn is a candidate for us, even though he is a first timer. That's the only one that I feel really good about, knowing that he 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 knows Woody somewhat. He has been in our system for a little bit. He can create a culture, a winning culture, like they did in Detroit, where that's a winning culture, man. Like with what they were able to create there, with the scheme on defense, knowing that defense lost a lot of players. Like if you watch them, that they're blitzing from different angles. Their coverages are really good. In my opinion, they don't really have like two really good shutdown corners. They do have
Mm-mm.
helps. They do have some schemes. The blitzes help apply a lot of pressure on the quarterback, which is like something that I feel really good about. Knowing next year that we will have Jermaine and McDonald on both
Mhm.
sides, like I really feel like with the players that we currently have, like we could make some stuff happen. But for us as Jet fans, it's all about patience right now. Once the GM comes, all the stuff's out of our control. Once we get the GM, get the head coach, then we could kind of figure out their schemes, and then we could kind of, play around with drafting and speculate on where we're going to get whoever at our draft position. But
It's true. Yeah. Again, there's so much unknown. Obviously, as people are saying, "Hey, this is going to be our quarterback," or "We're going to draft this guy at 7." I'm like, we have no friggin' clue
No
who's
clue.
going to draft where. What defense, what offense are we running? What's happening? Again, once we get the GM, we'll have some inkling. Sometimes they don't have to be from the same building when a GM hires a head coach. They don't necessarily both have to be Detroit Lions guys or what have you. They could be from somewhere else. So it's going to be compelling, but it's exciting that we're getting to it again. Where the finalist interviews for GM should be happening over the coming days. It's the search is always crazy because there's up and down and left and right and things that are happening. But again, the freshness, the undefeated in 2025, the turning the page. Again, there should be a lot of excitement among Jet fans for what the future can hold.
So I normally call on Wednesdays. I appreciate, the early show. Since I'm at work
Mm-hmm.
early, I'm able to jump on. I
Sure.
was just curious if you knew if because you're also like a reporter too, which I appreciate. Do you think it would come out why the 33rd team hasn't reached out to Gruden? Because that's one of my things where it's like, hey, if you don't want to hire him, that's fine, but at least get a shot, see where his head's at. Like he's somebody that I really feel like has an understanding of the game, even though he hasn't been here for a little bit. He has a offensive mind. He knows quarterbacks really well. He knows schemes. He knows how to break stuff down. Audibles at the line. Like when you just kind of understand where he's come from and what he's done, like he's a mind that you need to at least bring in the room to kind of pick his brain up and see where he's thinking and what he would do if we were to hire him and what staff he would bring. Like I feel like that's so useful for us to kind of at least entertain. Now, if you don't want to go the route because of whatever stuff that he's done, that got him caught up in some controversies or whatever, I get that, but when it comes down to football for business, if he's a candidate that makes a strong mark in the interview, you got to consider it a shot. But just my question is, do you think that will come out later on after all said and done? Why? Just speculating that if we don't give him an interview, that would be able to become public.
Yes, I do believe so. The same sort of
Nice.
way that Ben Johnson, for instance, right? People are like, oh, well, why didn't the Jets interview Ben? Why wouldn't? Because, like I said, it came out in reverse. It came out that the Jets were not interested in talking to Ben Johnson. I went, what? Why wouldn't you at least? Again, a lot of people find him quirky and a pain in the ass and all this other stuff. That's fine, but why wouldn't you want to talk to him? Obviously, he's got a brilliant offensive mind. He's got all kinds of creativity there. Why wouldn't you at least want to talk to him? And then it eventually came out. Ben Johnson, let it be known in the universe, I've got zero interest in the Jets job. And so
Mhm.
the Jets publicly requesting, hey, Ben, we'd love to talk to you, and being publicly denied would be embarrassing. So they didn't want to go through that. They heard through the grapevine that he wasn't interested, and bing, boom, bam. Obviously, he hasn't interviewed with the Jets. So 1,000%. Here's why I think we're going to see it. First off, Tannenbaum is an ESPN media personality. He does
Mhm.
interviews all over the place. Interviews on this show. He's been on this show before. Rick Spielman is a media guy. He has his own first draft podcast or whatever they call it for CBS, and we're going to try to get him on this show too. So eventually, those things are going to come out. Why didn't you interview Chucky? Why didn't you request Mike McCarthy? The Pete Carroll is another one that people are going to ask about. So 1,000%. I don't think that's going to be locked in the what if we're both at the local watering hole going, boy, Chucky, he would have been the guy. Not
Mhm.
no, what if? Why didn't they? I think we're all going to find out that information. And some of these big name candidates that they didn't request or didn't even try to talk to. Why didn't you? Oh, okay. I heard it was this. Oh, okay. I heard it was this. So whether we hear it in back channel whispers and then bring it to the air or just it just comes out on air, 1,000%. We're going to get all those answers and all those guys.
Cool. I appreciate your perspective and knowledge, man. I
Of
just want,
course.
if you don't mind, just give a couple shout outs to the coffee club
Yeah. Yeah.
members with Australian Jet fan, the Jersey Jet, MFC, really big contributors, man. Salute to the coffee club, everything y'all do, the chat. I got to go check in my orders right now. I saw the truck pull up, man, but I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, Chef. Appreciate it. Good takes and a great member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. He's a lot of fun. I love Chef. I love Chef calling in the show. I love the takes, and I know he, and appreciating all the shout outs. Number one Austrian Jet fan. All the fellow Coffee Club members like, hey now, appreciate you, Chef. Okay, love it. Beautiful. Good comments. And shout out to our boy Gator, baby, Gator McCluskey. Considering nobody's interviewed Gruden, either he doesn't want to coach or he can't based on legal issues. Could be. That's another good point from Gator. It's not as if everyone else is interviewing him and the Jets are not. Now, that's the case for Mike McCarthy. Obviously, he's talking to the Bears, he's talking to the Saints, but in particular for Chucky, it's interesting because apparently, according to NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero, Chucky could have had the Saints OC job if he wanted it. He declined it, so it doesn't sound like that's part of the legality there, or maybe he just doesn't want to coach because, like, it seems odd that you wouldn't at least talk to him. Let's see this Cowboy search. That could be somewhere where Chucky pops up. But it's a good conversation. Shout out to our boy Gator for that. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. We got plenty of people waiting to get on the show here. Up next is Easy here on the program. What's up, Easy?
Morning, boy.
Can't hear you.
Good morning, Paul.
Oh, whoa. There we go. Okay. Howdy.
All right,
Good morning.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Good morning. Yeah, it's been slow down here in North Kakalaki.
Yeah? Well.
But I have my coffee and I got my French toast. I'm making it with rye bread. I figured, what the hell?
Rye bread. Interesting. Okay. All right. French toast. That's always a good choice. Yeah.
Yep, see?
Yeah. Let's get MTV Cribs over here. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. There's the rye bread. There you go. Very nice. French toast is delicious. So, okay.
I love it.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do it very easy. Maybe the fact that you don't go.
Can you just adjust your mic again, Easy? We're kind of losing you again.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. You were talking about the having like a Detroit kind of guy, or maybe a Kansas City guy. Maybe you get one from both.
I would love
successful,
that. I prefer that.
Two successful organizations, because they might have done it a different way. So now you have two different angles that were both successful. Maybe that would work too.
100%. Again, that would, to be honest, would be my preference. I don't think you have to just grab them from the same house. Again, Lion, Chief, Viking is another popular one in the fan base. And again, NY Jets FL loves the continuity of that, so I understand that. But I just think you can have two smart people from two separate places that can be somewhat connected. Like I said, for instance, Borgonzi knows Glenn. Borgonzi knew Dorsey. Dorsey's in Detroit. Glenn, bing, boom, bam, all of them know each other. So it's not like they're strangers,
It's like a spider web, everything goes to that center, which is the shield. Everything,
Exactly.
it's all NFL. But, I'm sure, did they interview any college head coaches this year?
Yes, Mike Loxley. He's the Maryland guy. And Matt Campbell, who's at Iowa State, wants to talk to the Jets, but they have not talked to him yet, which is interesting.
I think the advantage of talking to a lot of people is you get a lot of different perspectives and a lot of different ideas. I think the disadvantage is for a guy like Woody, who can get pulled in different directions, is it will pull him in different directions and take so long to make our final choices that we could possibly lose out on the guy we really want.
That's the danger of interviewing that many people.
That's pretty much what I wanted to say about that. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I think you can overdo. Almost burnt that one.
Oh, okay. We'll let you get back to your cooking there, Easy. But yes, there is a thought that you could have paralysis by analysis. Again, shout out to our boy Easy, as always, for joining us with his, MTV Cribs kitchen episode. We always appreciate that. There is a thought to being paralysis by analysis. I've heard that. I've heard people mention that with the New York Jets specifically. To me, I like talking to all these different people. It's a lot of different ideas. And like I said, in a lot of these interviews, these aren't all the questions, but some of the questions are, how do you plan on fixing the Jets? Bleh. They throw up on the table, give all their ideas, and you go, interesting. What's your quarterback plan? Blah, on the table. And you just get all these ideas. And the Jets, because obviously, for like the 15 GM interviews, just because we're talking about GMs, you have 15 GMs. Obviously, you're not hiring all those people. You might hire a few in a variety of roles. Like I said, hopefully you can pair a couple of them together and have a well-built front office. But for the most part, most of these people you're interviewing are not going to get the job. So you're just information gathering, learning about their divisions or their ideas, and maybe ideas can spark an idea for you, because that happens all the time. I consume as much Jet content as I can. I watch the Rich Eisen show all the time. I watch Badlands, their Jet show. I watch SNY Final Drive. That's the Connor Hughes show with Janae Coakley. I watch his Jets Class show. I watch all kinds of shows, and they spark ideas for this show, or they spark Jet ideas in my mind for an article or something. So I try to consume as much Jets content as possible. And, I think that can only help. So, again, some people say it's paralysis by analysis. I don't think so. Again, the only person we've lost in the cycle is Vrabel, and I think we all knew that Vrabel was going to New England. MFC says it. It's intel gathering, which I think can only be beneficial. Again, if they take too long, you miss out on all the GMs, right? Like if the Titans and Raiders hire their GMs before the Jets, that's going to look bad. That's going to look bad. But like I said, we're getting to the next process here. It should be coming in the possible days with the second round interviews. That should be happening. Like I said, today's Wednesday. It should be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we should have a hire soon, and then all of a sudden move over to the head coach. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got the legend himself, Ricky New York, here on the program. What's up, Ricky?
Okay. A few different things. You know, I can't believe I'm actually kind of agreeing with Alan. Not
Wow.
about the Flores, but
Oh.
or I mean, yeah, about Flores. Yes, no Flores. Aaron Glenn is definitely my favorite. Now McCown is where I would, you know, differ from him a little bit. I wouldn't take McCown as a head coach, but an OC, sure. But yeah, I would be happy with like a Borgonzi, Glenn, McCown, you know, and
Oh, yeah.
get one from each. Why not?
Terrific. Yeah.
Now, also, the thing with Chucky is, you know, there's two things in the NFL that are real hard to come back from. There's the Ray Rice effect when you put your hands on a woman, or
yes.
there's the Riley Cooper effect when you make a racial slur, which is what Gruden's going through right now.
Yes.
That being said, I don't really want Gruden personally. And that's part of me, like living in Tampa and being very, very familiar with him, like personality wise and stuff. Like he does have a football mind. There's no denying that. However, like when he's in the room, like his voice is the only voice in the room, which can be good, but it can also be bad. And things that I heard, like when he was here from Brad Johnson, from other people, were like, he's got this great football mind, but they said like things were overcomplicated, like excessive terminology. Like it's like he was almost like trying to prove like how smart he was, and his system was not the easiest to pick up, especially for like young players. So, and since we have a lot of young players, that's why I would say that. So there's definitely some more layers to the Chucky thing than you know what people might be thinking. Like I said, man, let me tell you what, here in Tampa for a long time, it was like Chucky Day every day. You know, and the fans here absolutely loved him.
Yeah.
However, like some of the players said it was a bit rough picking up his system. So that's just something that I'll throw out there. But
I'll just
quite
say this
honestly,
real quick, Ricky,
especially.
And I know you got more takes, Ricky. The other thing I want to say is I love that you give takes on this show, and then you back it up with chutzpah, the stats, facts, things you're hearing in Tampa, things of that nature. I think that's what a lot of people like about you on the show, because I hear every time you come on the show, the Ricky emojis are coming up and everything else. I think that's the cut of the jib that everyone likes, is that you have takes and then you have things to back up these takes. They're not just wild things off the ranch with no real backing. I think that's what people really vibe with you, Ricky.
I definitely appreciate it, and I'm not going to say that I'm an expert on everything, you know. Like Alan could probably tell you all about the Iowa football players. I couldn't tell you anything. But when it comes to, you know, the Florida teams, whether it's, you know, Miami Hurricanes, FSU, like I know all that stuff, and especially, you know, here in Tampa, like I mean. Look behind me. The wall's red. I live in a red computer room because it used to be like a Buccaneers hangout, you know. But I won't say man cave because it's a lady that owns it. But there was like a bar and a pool table and everything in here when I first moved in.
Oh,
wow. So I'm still trying to work on her to let me paint these walls because this red walls, it's a bit much. At any rate, I do know the Tampa stuff. Other than that, like I I always like have a draft pick that I want, never get it ever. I think you know what? I think one of the only draft picks I ever got right was Denzel Ward when he went to the Browns, because they had already got Baker, and it's like 4 picks later or something. And I'm like, you know what? If they were really smart, they already got their quarterback. I would get the best corner who just happens to be an Ohio guy and go with like the hometown favorite. And then they turned around and did it. That's like the only time I've ever been right.
Well, you got Jordan Travis right, obviously, huh?
Yes, I did get that right. I did get that right. I mean, I don't know if I so much predicted that as I just hoped that it would happen. But yeah, I will say that I spoke that one into existence, because
Booyah.
that was nice that came through. You know, hopefully he can return to form.
I hope so. I hope so.
At any rate, the other thing I was going to say about Glenn is, like, dude, if with all the penalties and the mistakes and the just lack of focus from our guys this past season, how can you watch like those hard knock clips of him just lighten into his secondary and lighten into the defense and not think that that's the perfect person that we need here? Because you know what? If he's the Jets head coach, he's not just going to be talking to the defense like that. He's going to be talking to the offensive line like that. He's going to be talking to the receivers like that. You know what? He might pick up Gibson and just heave-ho him right out of the building with all those muff punts. He probably is not going to put up with that nonsense.
I hope not. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, you want to talk about holding people accountable. You want to talk about building a culture. Like, he's definitely the right person. And like I was saying on Jake's show yesterday, you know, he was a player. Then he started out in scouting. Then he was an assistant. Then he worked his way all the way up to coordinator. He's been on every different level. Not only does he know this organization intimately, but he's paid his dues. And there's something to be said about, like, I don't want some guy that's been like a position coach for a couple of years and then just all of a sudden you throw him no, you know, and no offense to McCown. I wasn't taking a shot at him by saying that, but I mean, there's something to be said about earning your way and paying your dues. And, you know, like, listen, you watch every show on ESPN, whatever, and they all say Aaron Glenn is one of the hottest names this coaching cycle. People in the NFL around the league are saying that. Why do you think they're saying that? Like, they're not just saying it to be cute. Like there's a reason. Like this guy's the real deal. So I think that it makes so much sense that if Woody doesn't hire him, he really is an idiot. Like I mean, it's, you know, the stars are all aligned for us. So we need to just go ahead and make this happen. And who knows, there might have been like a wink and a nod when he was there, like, hey, we're holding the spot for you. We'll see you when you get done. So, you know, I mean, I know we can't technically hire him right now, but and I'm sure the Jets would never do anything like that.
Of course, obviously. Yes.
And the other thing I was going to say is I'm not as hung up on a first-time general manager. Now, there were certain things that you know JD did that drove me crazy, like the best player available in the draft. Like, sometimes, like, when we've got a glaring need, like, you know, don't just completely ignore it. My opinion and their opinion was usually different on who the best player available was. Wow. So that would really aggravate me. So maybe we can get away from that with the next regime. But you know what? Joe Douglas did a lot of good things. You know, you can say that he missed on Zach Wilson, but every other quarterback that year was a bum. Like,
that's
true. Trevor Lawrence, maybe not, but he's, you know, kind of mediocre at best. Yeah. Really. I mean, if we're being honest. So you can't really kill him that bad. But the thing is he couldn't admit his mistake with Zach, and he stuck with him way too long.
Yep.
And that was the thing, is the just being so convinced that his way was right and not being able to admit a mistake and not being able to adjust. The kicker this year, the backup quarterback last year, you know, uh, there were just things that he did that were so aggravating, but there was so much other good that he did. And even Mekhi Becton, as a rookie, he played really well. He was just unfortunately was never really the same after the injury. And you could say like, oh, he should have gone after worse, the more consistent guy. And I get it. He went for that high upside, but you know what? There's a reason that Jonathan Ogden was a rarity. Like guys that size usually don't pan out. And I get it. That was one of those, real boomer bust things. Like if you hit, it's going to be amazing, but if you don't, not so much. And unfortunately, we probably should have went with the safer bet there. Hindsight's 2020. I actually agreed with the pick when he made it, but it just in the long run it didn't turn out. But he also made some great draft picks, and I'm not just talking about the four guys we got early. I'm talking about Michael Carter. I'm talking about Bryce Huff, undrafted free agent. Tony Adams has been all right. He hasn't been great, but he's been pretty good. And,
all things considered, yeah, right.
Yeah, all things considered. Picking up Quincy as a free agent that was like
come on now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and now he's an all pro. I mean, he did a lot of really good things, but just the few flaws that he did have were just so bad, and because he didn't change them, they eventually became so egregious that it cost him his job, unfortunately.
Ultimately.
But you can look and say that, he really did do a lot of good. And shit, trades and trading away junk that we didn't want.
Jamal Adams for that haul.
Yes. Are you kidding me? Like, I can't really think of too many trades that Joe Douglas made that he lost on. You can say Hassan Reddick. But that was more, that's more the fault of Reddick than it is JD, in my opinion. But other than that, I mean, God, when you can get rid of like Blake Cashman and get anything for it, like impressive. At any rate, hopefully, the next group will just completely knock it out of the park. I'm absolutely convinced that Glenn is the right guy for this job. The general manager, I mean, I like Borgonzi, but we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. And it'll be interesting to see if they get the GM first, if that dictates who the coach will end up being.
That could be another factor.
That could be too, but I definitely don't want Flores. Like, I know people are going, well, maybe he changed, maybe he learned. Yeah, well, maybe not. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's probably going to say the right things in a job interview. Most people do, but I don't know. That's a little bit too volatile. I mean, and the guy didn't just sue the NFL. He didn't just sue the Dolphins. He sued every single team he had ever been a part of.
Right. And even the ones he weren't, that he just interviewed with, like the Giants, I think were on that list because he interviewed with them, but he thought it was the Rooney Rule thing. So there's.
Like that's definitely not a good. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna make a prediction right now.
Oh,
I'm gonna predict. Sure. I'm gonna predict that Flores ends up going to Chicago.
Okay. Wow.
We find out that yes, he is still an asshole. And when things go bad there, he's going to throw Caleb under the bus just like he did with Tua. And it is going to be an ugly, ugly disaster. That's my prediction.
Okay. I love it. Thanks for the call, Ricky. Wow. What a prediction. That is, that's spicy. We'll see. Again, if that's where Flores would go, don't want any of that over her. That's for sure. All right, let's get to a couple more comments. Gator McCluskey, a theory of the Chucky thing. Jets must have been built on controversy as of late. Perhaps they're being advised against going with Gruden, which could be true with all of the hoopla that's happened with the Jets. To go with Chucky would certainly create a lot of headlines, maybe not the right headlines to start the foundation of a new regime. There's there's certainly something to be said for that. That's for sure. I've heard the Jason Witten Cowboys rumors. That is wild. I love Jason Witten as a player. That's awesome. But as a head coach with high school private experience, let's see. By the way, I didn't even think about that. Looking at my GM list, only one former GM was on my top 5 list. Everyone else would be a first timer. That's Borgonzi, Gain, Hallaby, and John Eric Sullivan. Dimitrov was the only repeat guy. Shadow Realm says Ricky sets a high bar for college. Yeah, he's great. I really enjoy his calls. We have a lot of great people on this show. Ricky, great caller, so pure. Reese says about Ricky New York. I do love it. We got a good variety of callers here on the show. Terrence Hill says I met John Gruden when his brother Jay was coaching the Orlando Predators AFL League back in the day. Great times. Yeah, John seems like a good guy. From people that have met him and stuff in person. I have not had the pleasure. Yeah. And yes, Ricky needs to take credit for the Jordan Travis one. That was, he deserves the shout out for that, of figuring that one out for sure. Yeah, please, gods, heal Jordan Travis. Unbelievable. I don't know what's going on there from that perspective, but please, please, please heal him. Gator McCluskey. Wasn't Robert Shaw the hottest name when we got him? He was, as a matter of fact. A lot of people didn't even think Robert Shaw would interview with the Jets because he was such a hot name, and he did. And obviously, we got him, and it didn't go as well. It didn't go as well. That is true. That's a true statement. I can't push back on that. And we got a YouTube super chat in here from EZ. Every time we get a super chat, we hear from my Data Zariah Luna. Wow. Easy, my idea. Xavier Gibson or Irv Charles convert to cornerback. Huh. Wow. That's off the reservation. Irv Charles, isn't he like 6'4" or something? I mean, that would be like a Brandon Browner like body. I mean, not impossible at corner. What is it? Irv Charles. He's like 6'4". Is how I remember him in my head. He's 6'4", 219. Wow. I like him as a special teamer, so I don't know if we got to ruin that part of it. But interesting. And then Xavier Gibson, he is really small. How much is whoop? Let's stop that. Let me go to Xavier Gibson. He's a small guy. What's his official size listed at for old Xavier Gibson? He is 5'9". Oh, good Lord. Okay. And 189 pounds soaking wet. So I like the creativity for sure. Wow, that'd be unique. That's for sure. That would be that'd be different. That'd be different. All right, easy. Let me put you down for your $1.90 or $2 super chat. Excuse me. We'll put you down for that. One more $1, and you will have a raffle ticket to our contest. We appreciate that, Easy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, let's keep going here on our comments and questions, and super chats are coming through as well. Let's that's interesting. I like that's some creativity on that. I have not heard that anywhere, Easy, so that is an original thought, that's for sure. That would be that'd be different. That'd be different. Yeah, Mekhi Becton, shout out to Mekhi Becton. He is a starting guard on a divisional playoff team, so Mekhi Becton's been able to turn it around, so salute to Mekhi Becton. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what he's been able to do. That's obviously I'm a left tackle. He wasn't willing to make changes here, but glad he was able to do it for the Eagles on a 1-year deal. He's probably going to get a big money contract, I imagine. Look at that, baby. FL Phil 98 gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Having some issues, so YouTube is not spitting out who these names are for the membership, so I apologize. Someone is getting them and getting an email for it, so shout out to all of you guys. That is now 2 raffle tickets for FL Phil 98 this month. We appreciate you, pal. Boom shakalaka. Booyah. Another raffle ticket for a contest, baby. $2.99 for each raffle ticket, aka memberships. Or, like I said, you could send them in as super chat, super stickers, or as PayPal or Venmo. If you send it as PayPal or Venmo at BoyGreen25, BOY Green the color 25, make sure you just explain that you are like Jersey Jet and you're going for memberships or super chats or whatever you're doing for the contest. Just let me know so I can make sure that all those get counted in. Please and thank you. FL Phil 98. Pew! Salute, baby. Philium. Gator McCluskey here. What are your thoughts on Justin Fields? Could he have made those same strides and learning curves as Darnold to potentially break out, be the mobile quarterback game record we need like Allen and Jackson? It's a curious thought. I think Justin Fields is totally in the conversation for the New York Jets next year. Because if Aaron Rodgers moves on, and that is the lean, I would imagine, is most people assume Aaron's going to either retire or play for somebody else or something of that nature, because a new regime coming in probably wants their own era, and Aaron Rodgers would invade that. Again, there's people that want Aaron Rodgers back. There's people that don't. My guess would be people coming in is that Aaron Rodgers would not be a favorite to come back. It would all depend on the GM and the head coach, of course. And if he does not, you got Tyrod Taylor. Okay, he's back. You got Jordan Travis, who's injured. We don't really know what's happening there. Justin Fields would be a dirt cheap 1 year, like 10 million, something of that range to bring in. And I'd be curious. Now, Gator, to your question, well, I mean, I thought Josh Allen wouldn't be able to fix his accuracy issues from college to the pros, and obviously I was dead wrong. So could Justin Fields, could you make the right offensive package where you unlock him in some way? The Jets are kind of in a tough spot. They don't have a clear path to a superstar quarterback. They don't have the keys to a top quarterback in the rookie class, obviously. Free agency is looking a little barren with Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson. And then some unique trade that we're not thinking of that right now that could be available that I can't really think of. Justin Fields is totally in the conversation. Could he make more strides and do things? Absolutely, Gator. So Justin Fields is in the conversation, and that's a former Garrett Wilson, Ohio State guy. I imagine that would excite Garrett Wilson. So he is totally in the conversation. He's totally in the conversation. I see we got a Facebook comment here from Luca on Facebook. This is the success of Mekhi just proves how trash our line coach is and has been. Part of that I would agree with. Part of it is Mekhi Becton, on the player. He said, I'm a left tackle. He was a little stubborn. And then the reality of getting dumped out into the free agent market and not getting a ton of interest, I think Mekhi Becton had a coming to Jesus moment of, oh man, my NFL career could be over here. And then he gets an op to work out the Eagles. He's humbled. And then they tell him, hey, you're moving to guard, buddy boy. And he moves and he accepts it and embraces it. So part of it, sure, the Jets line coach has not been great. We don't have no Bill Callahan over here. But I think part of the other one is Mekhi Becton looking at himself in the mirror. I've not talked to Mekhi about this, but I would imagine him looking at himself in the mirror and saying, hey, man, I got to step up or I'm about to step out of the National Football League. So I think that's part of it, too, that you got to keep in mind there for Mekhi Becton. Let's do this. Let's go back to the phone lines, baby. One of the fan favorites that's been earning a lot of street cred is none other than June the GM, baby, back here on the show. What's up, June?
Hey, how you doing, my friend? Sorry, I couldn't tune in to your 3 o'clock episode because I'm a manager at my job. Yeah. And I can't be on the phones. I was trying to sneak in and, they're on my back. But
that's okay.
I'm optimistic this morning because I was really diving into the GM search. Mm-hmm. And one thing I can say that I really like that we're interviewing people who really nobody talked about. Like, I look at my list, I see this guy, Trey Brown from Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. We all know that Cincinnati has a pipeline of talent. Talent's never been an issue in Cincinnati, right? I'll give you another one I really like. The guy Lance Newmark out there in Washington. They seem to suddenly be loaded with talent down there. You got Spielman. I love Spielman from Detroit. I told you that's, believe it or not, he's my favorite candidate. Only because, I grew up watching him play. He was
he was an awesome linebacker.
Oh, he was vicious, disgusting. Yes. So from what I hear, I can be wrong from doing a little research. I hear he was the main culture changer in Detroit.
That's what a lot of people have said. A lot of people have given him that credit. That's true. Yeah.
So if we bring him in, maybe we bring him in as a for the first time president of operations or some crazy title. Yes. But I also like a sleeper. It's the young boy who looks like the guy from Spider-Man, Hallaby.
Alec Hallaby.
Yeah, from Philly. I like our list. I'm believing that we will get a GM by the end of this weekend, by the end of the second round of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing I want to tell us fellow Jet fans. I think it's going to be a surprise. I think all the stuff we're hearing, the Minnesota this and I don't know. I think it's going to be somebody out the hat that hopefully positive that we didn't expect. And I'm also not so sure that we're 100% on having Glenn. I'm not. I'm not as an organization because, we let him walk out the building, right?
We did.
We're still looking. You know how it is. You go on a date with a girl. If you like her that much, you better wife her quick.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So we're still searching. We're still looking. And let me throw a name at you that I was thinking about that would be great to develop a young quarterback. I would love to bring Marvin Lewis into our organization. The old Cincinnati GOAT who was there 55 years. He's been known to be a good, I'm surprised if we're going to interview some of the old hags we interviewed. Why don't we give him an interview, Marvin Lewis? I know he wouldn't be a hit, but damn, if you're going to interview Spagnuolo and Rex Ryan and people like that, he should have got an interview, I think, Marvin Lewis. That would have been a nice little sleeper interview. At least bring him in as a quarterback coach, maybe. Some type of mentor or something like that. So I'm feeling optimistic. I think we will know by the end of this week in our GM. I just pray to God. We've all suffered. We had to live through the cold type. We had to live through Adam Gates, who was him with Bowles back to back. I'm surprised I'm still here. But if we hire that guy from Minnesota, Paul, I don't want him. I don't like his face. I don't like what he did to Andrew Luck, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks I've ever seen. He sent the boy canoeing. He's on a canoe right now. Andrew Luck. No way. I don't want him. I don't want him and Flores. God, please no. I think it's gonna be a surprise. Don't be last take. Yeah. Don't be surprised if it's not the kid from Philly. I'm putting my eggs in that basket. We're gonna get him. Kid from Philly.
Boom. I love it. June, thanks for the call. Alec Hallaby is the name that June is referencing. He is the assistant general manager for the Philadelphia Eagles. A very smart guy, Harvard grad, a former quarterback, analytical guy. And obviously the Eagles have been killing it. They're the number 2 seed in the NFC Conference. They've been good for a long time. He has been there 18 years in Philadelphia. All right. I like the cut of Ryan's jib, or Alec Hallaby's jib, excuse me. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. So shout out to June for that prediction. All right, let's get one more call in here before we wrap up. And by the way, the person he was talking about, he does not want Ryan Grigson. He is the director of player personnel for the Minnesota Vikings. He was a coach GM before and did not go great. The winning record went great, division title, some playoff appearances, but destroying Andrew Luck, one of the best generational young quarterbacks we've seen. That is an art that is so low to one of the kind. That is Ryan Grigson. All right, let's go back to the phone lines one more time. Johnny Boy here on the show. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, what
Jets
up, BG?
Worldwide.
Wide. Hey, yeah. I wanted to ask you if you were able to see, if you watched the Vrabel interview.
All right, the press conference you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes, it was a 40-minute special. I had to watch it because, again, I think a lot of us were compelled to see it. And I'll just say, I don't know what your question is, but I'll just say this, that hearing him talk about the accountability and pounding the table for it, I just went, damn, he would have been a great fit. He would have been a great fit. So I listened to his entire 40-plus minute press conference, introductory press conference with the Patriots. I did.
I just I wanted to come up here to ask you in regards to that didn't it piss you off seeing him up there with that smug face and then talking about the whole paycheck stuff and like, I haven't gotten a paycheck from the Patriots since 2000 and whatever, and just joking around and stuff like that? I hope that whoever we get beats the brick off of that dude, man, because he has that smug of a smile that already pisses you off. And just to see him up there to be like, ha ha, Jets. That's what I took from it. Like, I feel
that
like,
was the one because there was a moment during the presser, if you guys did not see it, during the press conference, he said, I'd like to thank the teams that interviewed me before I ended up with the Patriots. But this is his words. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Like, it became clear to me. This is Rabel saying this, that like the Patriots were the clear and obvious fit for me. And it just feels like a real swift kick in the loins, because obviously Jet fans were drooling and oohing and everything for Mike Vrabel, and for him to like just kind of like, and he didn't mention the Jets by name. He just said the teams that interviewed me, which was the Jets, but whatever. But he said it without saying, and they're like, yeah, Jets, thanks, but no thanks. And it just, that hurt. So yeah, I'm motivated as hell. I'd wish that someone else would say the Rex Ryan thing. Rex Ryan said, I hope I get the chance to kick his ass twice a year. Again, I don't want Rex Ryan. I hope it's somebody else, but like, I hope that's kind of the, Aaron Glenn's not going to say that in his introductory press conference. If it was Aaron Glenn or anybody, I'm not kissing Vrabel's rings. That probably is not happening, but I hope that energy's there, because I can't wait for that Jets-Patriots game next year. I hope we kick their ass, quite frankly.
100%. Yeah, it's just seeing that, man. I'm like, why am I watching this? More and more, I kept seeing it, but anyways, that's what I was calling it. BG, keep doing your thing, man. Like, that Vrabel crap pissed me off, man. I can't wait. I hope we beat that dude every single time we see him, man. So appreciate you,
before
BG.
we let you go, Johnny, give us the plug. Jets Worldwide, what kind of content do you guys have on that YouTube channel? Again, all one word, Jets Worldwide?
Yeah, it's myself and my partner, Snowball. We do a game show, right? So right now we're doing the Wheel of Misfortune. And essentially what it is we do a lot of different sports phrases. It is pretty much Jet centric, but we are gonna add a little bit of some nuggets on some Knicks stuff. We'll add some like everyday phrases. Just try to make it a little bit more fun, in the sense of not just being so, like what's going on today, or like getting all intense or anything. Just a time where everybody could chill back, relax. It's very chat involved as well, right? So gets involved. It seems like the chat actually solves the puzzle before the actual contestants do.
Funny.
So, but the big fella won. He's on a tear right now as well. But yeah, it's Jets Worldwide every Friday at 7:30. We do the match game Sundays typically at 10:30, but that's during the season. But we will get back there. We are gonna do a BG to get him back on there, because he is the champ and everything. So it's just people haven't been wanting to try to swing at the champ. So I hear it.
I don't blame him. Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I appreciate it, BG.
Thanks, Johnny. Again, make sure you guys subscribe to that YouTube channel. Again, that's Jets Worldwide, all one, where we got 600 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. And one more comment here from FFL 98. I was never drooling for Vrabel. He will fail in New England. FL Phil 98. We can only hope, baby. Screw that bastard. And again, the Jets should have their GM again. Another reminder, thanks for everyone for watching the show. First round of GM interviews, and the finalists are next. Again, the 15 interviews are complete. Up next, the next second round of interviews the Jets do for GM are their finalists. I imagine it's going to be 5 or 6 from that name of 15, and we'll see who ends up being the guy. Our guy, June, the GM, he picked Alec Hallaby as his guy. So we will see. That's his prediction. The Philadelphia Eagles guy has been there for 18 years. We'll see if that is correct. Like the video, hit subscribe. Today's a Wednesday, so no additional show coming on the show today. But tomorrow, Boy Green Daily, and then Sean Merriman. Sean Lights Out Merriman will be joining us live tomorrow at 3 o'clock. I can't wait. It's going to be a hoot. He's one of my favorite, most passionate players, certainly of this era of NFL football here in the 21st century. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for Boy Green Daily with all the latest. God bless everybody. We'll see you.